listening to the RM Podcast, the official podcast of Red Moon Productions. Here are your hosts, Brandon Davidson, Keith Cheatham, and Sean Sebastian. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Red Moon Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host,
Sean Sebastian.
and
Keith Cheatham.
Cheatham. Mr. Cheatham, will he finish it this week? The epic of epicness. The poem was started. The closing was beginning. And yet, the show was not over. He left a little bit to be desired when he tried to finish the show with his poem last week. And I must say, you're trying. You try to click
No,
it
it's
too
going.
soon.
Just not
It was
doing
going. You
Well,
just
because
didn't
it's
have
on the same fader as the computer.
It just won't
And
go.
so when I'm fading the music out, you can't click that at the same
Well,
time.
I didn't know you were.
Now
you were
it should
doing,
work.
I don't want to do it now.
Faded.
What song is that?
That was
Who
the
is
one you
that?
came up with.
Yeah.
Remember that?
He's. Was it? Yeah.
He's faded.
Yeah.
He's faded.
Yeah.
That was what it was.
Yeah. That's it. That was it.
The only words to the song.
He's faded.
Songs written at the lake.
Well, you know what I will say, Keith. At least your poem last week had better.
faded.
better
You're gonna be really
stanzas.
mad when it gets to the end of the show and I go to read my poem and I
And
just
then you just
spelled
go,
out.
he's
faded.
Tune in next week. Live Tuesday
No,
nights
he's
right
gonna,
here.
He's gonna read it and we're gonna start crying. Like it's gonna be real.
Oh, dude, that would be even better. If it literally just went to straight, he just reads that second stanza and we're like,
And then you die.
shit, man, that was deep.
Yeah.
And we're just bawling over this haiku.
Yes.
It's not a haiku.
I know. it rhymed. I want to know if you
What
have a
love is?
haiku out there. I always want to know what love is. I want to know what love is.
I
want you to show me.
Sean, you got to go up the next one. You got to go to the next verse.
Anyways, if
No,
we have a haiku out there,
If,
go ahead.
no, if we have a haiku out there that can make me cry, I will give you $1 million. Maybe it'll be in another lifetime because I don't have $1 million.
I was about to say,
I have never
don't make
heard.
promises you can't keep.
Well, I know it can't be matched. I know it can't. Look, I've
Someone's
never heard
gonna
a
write
haiku.
a haiku that makes you cry. You've never
Yeah.
heard a haiku?
No, I've never heard a haiku
I'm just
that
saying-
has made me cry
I'm
or
thinking,
made me feel any
every time I
emotion.
hear somebody say that word, I think of Wayne's World. I think
Yeah.
of Garth like saying something, and then Wayne's just like, "Dude, that's a haiku." They're like, "Cool,
Cool, man. Yeah, I've never heard any haiku in my life that has made me feel emotional. at all.
Someone's gonna write one. And
Do
you're
it in the
gonna- And you're
chat.
gonna be like,
Come on, make a comment. Write a haiku.
someone's gonna write a haiku
It's
and we're all gonna be
challenge.
bawling, and then you're gonna owe someone $1 million.
That's fine. I'll give you my first mill from Red Moon. Well, that's got to go back into the company so we can produce more millions. How about when I make
Capitalism.
10 million, I'll give you the $1 million, another $1 million. Yeah, I'll do that.
Nobody's gonna write a haiku at this point.
Just
No.
do it for the fun.
They're
of
like,
it.
we're never getting anybody.
Just
Most
do it.
most people are googling haiku right now. They're
Probably.
Like, what the hell's a haiku?
Just do it for the. Do it to
It's
see
a
me
pigeon
cry.
on dope. Haiku, because pigeons coo. It's a dad joke.
wow.
That was bad.
Wow.
That
I told you,
was real
I told you it
bad.
was a dad joke.
That's a dad
And,
joke.
Yeah.
Sean's the
half.
dad here, and he even
I
rated
love,
that one.
I love,
bad.
I love dad jokes because they're great.
I do too when they're good.
That one, that's the point. They're supposed to be bad.
No, that one just wasn't even.
The pigeon on dope. He's a
I gotcha.
haiku. Yeah. See.
You know, this is the great entertainment you get every single week here on the Red Moon Podcast, live at 9 o'clock every single Tuesday night, every week. Summer's coming up, boys. You got any big plans? We got our lake trip at the end of the summer.
That's what I got planned.
That's well, you got something even bigger planned here in a couple weeks.
Hopefully.
Yeah. What?
Moving.
Well, yeah. What do you mean? Hopefully, it's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, we're moving. I just don't know if it's going to be the house that we think it is.
Oh.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's like some inspection
Oh,
stuff that's
no.
come back.
Oh.
So we're.
Is this a first on the Red Moon Podcast that
It-
we're
it
hearing
might
about
be.
this?
It might
Oh,
be.
Man.
It's deep. I can't go into it.
That's too much. Well,
Yeah, that's understandable.
It has to do with a septic tank.
Oh.
Mm.
So-
yeah.
You don't want a
That's
bad
not
septic
good.
tank.
That's right.
We had one of those before we had sewers at my parents' house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got some issues.
When that bubbled up in the back, couldn't play football.
Yep.
Just saying.
You were in deep shit.
Now
That's
was
a dad joke.
That was a dad
That was good. That was good.
No, we've got a great show planned. We've got 2 major headlines we're talking about.
Yes.
Netflix wanting to get into the video game, dominion. What in the world is this?
Money.
Going after all the Fortnite people.
They need some
And then we got PlayStation Studios also talking about producing movies. So video games
like
going to movies.
role reversal.
Yeah,
Right?
up is down, down is up. What's
What?
going down?
What?
Oh!
Twa?
And we also have a great review for
Yes.
all those people out there.
That was another dad joke.
So what?
Twa?
It's what backwards, right?
So
Ta?
bad.
Tawa?
What?
Huh?
Tawa?
What? Tall. Yeah, tall.
Tawa.
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 It'd be, yeah.
I said twat.
Tall.
Twa?
Tall.
It's getting close to
Yeah,
something
you get a
else.
little-
I don't know about that one.
All right, we better just move
Censors
on.
might.
That's where we are right
Yeah.
now. In the twilight zone.
Well, I'll tell you right now, we got a great review. I was trying to segue. I can't find a segue off that.
Zack Snyder had another movie released this year
Look,
that's not Justice League.
I'm tired of Zack Snyder.
I know
I'm
you
waiting
are.
for Army of the
we are
Dead.
well aware.
Noir.
Noir.
Yeah.
Film
the black
noir.
and
I
white.
like to say noir.
Here's the thing though. Netflix already tweeted that this is the Snyder cut.
Hey,
So
you said, here's the thing. He's supposed to say, it's my turn to talk.
Yeah. I'm supposed to cut you off, man.
Shut the
You gotta say
up.
F
It's
you.
my turn to
F
talk.
you. I'm trying to talk, okay? That's right. We got a listener out there in
Yeah.
Twitch land.
mm.
Hey, he's
don't
probably
know
watching
why.
from Fortnite. I don't know.
Yeah, playing some video games.
there
Yeah.
you go. Bad mouthing him. That'll make him want to watch it some more.
Yeah, I don't care.
Hey,
Send another comment.
negative
Prove-
attention is still attention.
Exactly. There is no bad thing as
That's true.
bad publicity.
If you want to get on the show and say all kinds of horrible things about us, I welcome it because it gives us a good laugh.
Bring it.
I'm willing to do anything for this show.
Mm.
I will let you all harass me.
Oh.
Never mind. That comes from.
That's
a little bit of an.
You're making an inside joke, and
I did.
and it comes across
Well,
not
here's the
so
thing.
good
Just
to
go
people who
look
don't
up
know.
the Jungle Book parody on YouTube,
Oh, yeah.
and you'll know where it comes
We're-
from.
we're-
It's an
we're-
age-old classic.
We're straying too close to that podcast.
We are. We need to stop. That's
Okay.
our other podcast. But anyways, I'm sick because now we have freaking the actresses from Sucker Punch saying release the Snyder Cut. Look,
I would
Snyder,
watch the Snyder Cut.
I'm
of that
okay with
movie.
that.
no, I'm not.
Oh,
I
I
know
agree.
you all
it's
are,
a bad
and I know
precedent.
why.
But I
Me
would
and
I would
Keith-
watch it
Me and
again.
Keith discussed this before the show, and we
W-
think that
yes.
you
We'll
are
get
biased
into-
against Zack Snyder.
I
now.
am. He's my U-Bowl.
He's your
my
second. No,
U-Bowl.
he's your second James Cameron. He's not as
Mm,
close, but he's your second.
He's getting to be on par with.
See?
He's my Ed Wood. I'll say that. Zack Snyder is.
He's like the anger is so. It's like this. This is he can't. There's just so much hatred.
He's gonna start spitting. Zack Snyder.
He's gonna
I
drop.
don't want to. I don't want to slip up like I did last
He's
time.
gonna drop
Yeah.
another
Zack
dirty word.
Stupid.
Okay.
All right, let's do the review.
Let's get on to the review, and then I can trash talk Zack Snyder some more. All right, here is our review. Yes, of Army of the Dead.
It has been said that you can never have too much of a good thing. Hollywood seems to believe you can also never have too much of a bad thing. Because here we are once again with another Zack Snyder film. The second one this year if you count the Snyder Cut of Justice League as an entirely new film to the original, which many do. The man who is all style and no substance has circled back to his roots to deliver an original take on the zombie genre, with the Netflix original film, Army of the Dead. Starring Dave Bautista, Army of the Dead is a zombie heist film. That's right. When Las Vegas is hit by a zombie outbreak, the US government sells off all of Vegas with the zombies trapped inside. Many lives were lost and all of Vegas is overrun. But in this story, humanity survives the zombie outbreak, successfully isolating the zombies in Vegas, with the United States planning to drop a low-grade nuke on the city to wipe them out and call it a day. Not much different than the nuclear test done in the Nevada desert. The movie itself points this out, as the exposition is mostly used to point things out that Snyder is not clever enough to convey on screen without characters directly telling the audience. Bautista plays Scott Ward, a man who not only survived Vegas, but even managed to drag the Secretary of Defense out alive. For this, he is given a medal and ends up working at a burger shack before being approached by Bly Tanaka, a casino owner who wants Ward to put together a team to sneak into Vegas and steal $200 million out of the abandoned casino safe before the government nukes the city. Ward agrees, and Snyder-style shenanigans ensue. If all of this actually sounds like a unique and interesting premise, you're right. Army of the Dead may in fact be the first ever zombie heist film, with the idea of a world that survives a zombie outbreak relatively unscathed being unique, and a team of people robbing a casino while evading zombies instead of police even more so. Add on top of this over-the-top violence, guts, and typical zombie gore, and Army of the Dead could be one of the funnest films all year. Add Snyder, who excels at spectacle, and it would almost be a perfect film. Except Snyder actually wrote the thing and serves as the director of cinematography, ensuring that any hope of any substance is thrown out the window. Yes, it's a Snyder film, so logic and dialogue are non-existent. The plot, while intriguing, is full of holes, and the characters never act in a believable manner, and instead are taken out by the sheer stupidity that is Snyder's script. The only thing this film has going for it is the Snyder spectacle, which I did thoroughly enjoy. What I did not enjoy was the 2.5-hour runtime that is padded with long, needless exposition and scenes meant to build emotion but are awkward and laughable. Seriously, this film could have ran an hour 30 and just given us a zombie action heist film that was non-stop adrenaline, and it would have been great. But Snyder actually tried. He actually tried to do emotion, and it's bad. Yet somehow I was still entertained. Maybe I've grown numb to Snyder, or maybe it's a case of if you can't beat them, join them. But every scene was either solid action or something so terrible I laughed until I cried. Either way, bad or good, I had fun, even if I know the film could have delivered so much more. It's not good, but it's also not devoid of any enjoyment. If you ever need a movie to throw a few back and check your brain at the door, Army of the Dead might do it for you. I give Army of the Dead 2.5 out of 4 stars.
2.5 out of 4 stars for Army of the Dead.
So you'd say that's a no-brainer.
he's gonna come up with it the rest of the night.
Okay.
He's gonna
Felt like
have
that
it.
one was too easy though.
Yeah.
I don't know. It honestly, I didn't see that
I'm
coming.
embarrassed.
I
by
just
that
thought,
one. I'm embarrassed by
did
that
you
one.
just come up with that one?
Oh, yeah.
Were you stewing that?
Yeah, when he said like something about shutting your brain off or something, I was
Check
just
your
like,
brain at the door.
Check your brain.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
when I got it. I
Yep.
was like, it's a no-brainer.
Well, check
But
your brain at the door. That I guess you could have gone with that as well. All right. I guess
So
that's what you were alluding to.
2.5 out of 4 stars.
That's what I said though. That's why
No,
I'm
I'm
confused.
saying.
Let's talk about the movie.
That's what I'm saying in the review. Check your brain at the door. Were you doing that intentionally because of like it being?
Oh no, that wasn't
zombies?
that wasn't a pun.
It wasn't a pun.
No,
Okay.
it wasn't a
All
pun.
right. That's
It was
what I
just literally
Should have
'cause
been.
the
It could have been.
It could have been.
It is.
I mean, it's still
it is
there.
now.
It technically is.
I didn't-
yeah.
Genius.
I didn't
Keith.
have to make puns to talk about how bad parts of this movie are. I didn't hate that. Brandon hates this movie. I don't hate the movie. I do think it's not a good movie, but there are things like I definitely love the action. Like the violence is all great. The
Yeah.
opening montage is great.
Yes.
And there I was entertained in parts, hence the 2.5. I was like, it's like if I was at the lake right now, I would love this movie.
Mhm.
But you know,
You would have actually gotten emotional if you were
Maybe.
at the lake.
maybe.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the lake. There's just something about the water.
Yes.
It just makes you more emotional.
It
you
does.
know? We'll just say
Yep.
that.
But as it was, it definitely has faults, and I didn't expect anything less from Zack Snyder. And I think that's part of it too, as I've come to know exactly what we're going to get from Zack Snyder.
Mhm.
So if I can get like the action that's entertaining, I'm like, okay, this is what I want. Quit trying to do, which he still did, tried to do exposition and emotion, which he can't do.
Yep.
It's like just leave out, quit trying to make these 3-hour-long epic movies, and just give people action and fun because that's what
Yep.
you're good at.
I couldn't agree more, which is why I gave it 1.5.
Oh,
out of
wow.
4 stars. Yep, to me, it's right up there with the likes of what was that movie we reviewed last week?
It's nowhere near as bad as Spiral.
Okay, it's not as bad as Spiral. I'll say that, but it's still in the same league, which is why I was gonna give it 2.
Justice League?
And bad dad joke. Bad.
I actually thought it was on par with Justice League, and I wouldn't give Justice League a 1.5 either.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I really
he
don't
has
know.
he has that Zack Snyder block. He's just like, I can't give him anything.
I mean, I'll be honest. That really did enter my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I was gonna edge it out and give it 2, thinking because of my bias against Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it, and I was like, we already do this with the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Where we try to forego any of the past performances and be like, was this performance what made this actor, actress, whoever it is, worthwhile
This
receiving
year,
this
yeah.
award?
Yeah.
And like, for instance, we've gone back and forth on the whole The Revenant talk and why, whether or not Leo deserved. Great role. Don't think he deserved it for that one. Think he deserved it for another one. If you don't get it that year, if you're getting it because of all your past performances,
Yeah.
to me that's not
That's not the
a
best
real-
of the year. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I've seen enough Snyder at this point, and Justice League already put me over the top because what I can't stand is his attitude about how he just
he's
seems
brilliant.
Yes. And he just so,
He does. He thinks
He thinks he is the
yeah.
god.
well, and I'm sorry, but when you have all these people coming to your defense saying, "Yeah, we want to see your version,"
We want to see that
Yeah.
Zack Snyder cut
Yeah.
of Sucker Punch.
and so
of everything.
yes,
They're calling it Snyder Punch now. Release.
God, release the Snyder Punch.
They-
Yes, instead of
Nice.
Sucker Punch, they're saying release the Snyder Punch.
Gosh
love it.
sakes.
I mean, I did read several reviews about the movie after I watched it because I do understand that on a lot of review boards, even Rotten Tomatoes, a lot of people are giving it pretty decent reviews.
Yeah, it actually has.
It's up there.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I didn't understand why because I wasn't a huge fan of the movie. I gave it 2, so I'm a little bit under Keith, a little bit above you, Brandon. But I didn't hate the movie. I was entertained by it. The first time I tried to watch it, I was tired as hell, so I kind of fell asleep.
It has some.
The second time
longer,
I
boring
watched
moments.
it, I watched it from the start and watched it all the way through and didn't have any problems that time. But again, these reviews kept mentioning the fact that Zack Snyder seems to be so much better a filmmaker when he doesn't have producers pushing back against him. And that's what almost every review I was reading was just like, if they would just let Snyder do what he wants to do, it would turn out amazing and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, he got to do what he wanted to do with this movie, and it didn't turn out amazing.
Right.
And I will be the first one. I think we all agreed, like the Snyder cut is better
Yes.
than the what is it called? The Justice League.
Justice League.
So
yeah.
So I'll give him that one.
People come up
And-
with great names.
But that doesn't mean that every movie that he's done in the past needs to be remade with
No.
with his.
Yes, it
you know-
does.
I don't
He's
believe
had his
that.
hands tied.
I don't believe
The
that.
studios have screwed Zack Snyder, and we need to give
How
him
many
another chance.
other directors experience studio interference and still, deliver great films until they. I mean, look at Peter Jackson and how much resistance he got with Lord of the Rings, and he fought tooth and nail and made something amazing. And then he's gotten more leeway since then. It's just kind of how the business works.
Yeah.
Until you have a name that they know, okay, he makes good stuff. The studios are going to be a little wary because they're putting their money on the
Well,
project.
and we know the studios are also gonna. They want something that sells.
They want profit,
and,
yeah.
And the thing is, Netflix knows the Zack Snyder property right now is hot. Regardless of the Justice League stuff coming, it was like, look, I'm not gonna. I don't want to sit here and pretend like his what's going on in his personal life doesn't matter. It's like, look, I don't wish any bad on the guy himself, like his own personal. I'm sure he's an awesome, cool guy to hang out with.
I'd have a beer with him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think stylistically, I think he's got a certain kind of look. I loved the fact that he did experiment and he chose to use throughout this whole film the 50 prime with the extreme depth of field.
Yep.
I liked the look that provided. All of his stylistic choices that he uses throughout all of his films, I'm always for. It's the substance that I always have a problem with. And in this movie, there was by far not enough action. There was way too many pauses in terms of when we would get from one set piece to the other. When the set pieces finally happened, they weren't enthralling at all. To me, the best part was at the end when they're escaping, the casino, and that would have had some of the best scenes. There was one scene where Batista's like full on doing wrestling moves, with a zombie, and I'm like, this is the crap I want to see more of.
Right.
Like this would be
Now,
awesome.
I do agree. I wish they had given us way more of that, and hence why I say he needs to tone back the exposition and the emotion because he can't do it successfully and focus more on that spectacle that he is good at.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
No
it's like
doubt.
you brought up the movie 300. It's probably one of his best works.
Pure
And,
spectacle.
and
yeah.
again, it is 100% spectacle.
Yep.
There's not a lot of emotion that's drawn from that movie other than you saying "Hell yeah" for Sparta.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
Other than that, you want to become a Spartan after watching that
I
movie.
kind of want to go home and rewatch it now.
I want to kind
Yeah,
of
I
want to
know.
kind of have abs like Gerard Butler.
Yeah,
you know?
gotta
Doesn't
flip.
everybody?
You, gotta
You know what I'm
flip
saying?
Tractor tires.
I know
and-
that, but I'm just like that's he gave us what we wanted. We knew that's what we would get from him.
And he
with-
also didn't write it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Was
He-
that
that wasn't? Oh, that wasn't
Um,
Gunn, was it?
no?
James
No,
Gunn's
no.
written some of his
Um,
stuff in the past. I forget who wrote 300. It wasn't Frank Miller. Frank Miller
Yeah.
did the comic.
Yeah, Frank Miller
Was
wrote
it
the.
Miller?
But did
Did he do the treatment?
He did
for
the
the
graphic
screenplay?
novel, but I don't know about the.
I don't know if they
screenplay.
just credit Miller
I
with the
wanna
screenplay or just the
say-
novel. I can't remember. IMDb's got their new
I'm
look.
looking it up right now.
But the thing is I just feel like, again, when you go to Zack Snyder, you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And when you have when I saw that the runtime on this movie was 2 hours and 40 minutes, I seriously thought, what in the hell?
Here we go again.
Yes, this is it's literally, again, I have to say that when somebody's self-absorbed, it's up to you as a good, decent person to shake them by the shoulders and slap them a few times and say, "Wake up!" And I feel like that's what we need to do with Zack Snyder, not protest and get out there and say, "We need more Snyder cuts."
He wrote 300.
Did he write 300?
He co-wrote it with a Kurt Johnstad, but I don't know how much.
So we know that
Each
Kurt
wrote.
Johnstad wrote it.
98%.
Yeah. And here's the
Well,
thing:
he also
Frank
wrote
Miller
300:
had,
Rise of an Empire, and that one wasn't very good.
It
so
wasn't.
and Frank Miller was the one who did the comic.
He did the graphic novel.
Yeah. So
novel,
if that's the case, then look, he needs a lot of hand holding when it comes to
Maybe that's why
again,
the producers do hold his hand.
Now, Dawn of the
Right?
Dead was the one you were thinking of that was written by James Gunn, but Zack Snyder directed that
Oh,
one.
okay, I
Yeah.
gotcha.
So, which that was is arguably also
That-
after 300 his
fantastic.
next best
True.
movie. So
Yeah, good. But
yeah.
the other thing I did not like about this film was, kind of going with some of the production design. I thought the zombie queen. I mean, first of all, let's break down the whole story aspect. I thought some of the cool set pieces of the story or the tropes in the story were okay. I thought, the point of there being an army of the dead in Las Vegas of like when he says, no, this is not their coffin, this is their kingdom.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, okay, that's a cool way of putting it.
Right.
And like they rule this land, this is their own little haven,
Mhm.
and they don't want to get out. They just want to rule within the. I thought that was okay.
Yeah.
But then when you get into like the screeching and like the
Yeah.
way she's crawling on the ground and I'm just like
Like a spider. or
yeah, I just thought, okay, this is all not stereotypical. It's just nothing was unique about it enough to be like warranted to warrant. Oh wow, this is something I've never seen before. And then some of the screeching itself, I just thought this doesn't even sound natural. Like this is how a person's vocal cords
No,
would
it was,
evolve.
it was
actually-
just like
I just
The Stand.
Yes.
yes, yeah.
What's his name? God.
Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller.
I was going to
Yes.
say that was actually one thing right off the bat that bothered me is when the military's hauling the king through the desert and he escapes, breaks out. They act completely unlike any military. Like, I mean, they deserve to die because it's like
Yes.
because they were just ignorant. But anyways, when he does, spoiler alert, kill them and they become zombies, and the first one immediately sets up and screeches, I was like, he was just human. Like. His vocal
Yes.
cord, it's like I can maybe buy like after your vocal cords have rotted a little bit, maybe you sound kind of weird, but he just gives off this unhuman screech just like the king did, and I was just like, that's really weird. Like
Yeah.
you become a zombie and you automatically can just make
Immediately.
that weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
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 I didn't like the whole zombie hierarchy thing at all. Like I just wanted a straight up zombie film. I didn't care for the fact that they had like a king and a queen and that some of them were different and then some of them were just like drones and not mindless wanderers, and then there were others that had they still had like human emotions locked away in there. Like I get that, and I just didn't like the way that it was delivered with a king and a queen and how they I didn't enjoy that as much. I felt like if it was just been a bunch of freaking zombies in Las Vegas that are trapped in there,
Yeah.
I would have been okay with that. And
I didn't mind it. I just, again, it goes back to, like, this is my problem with some of these movies is you've got to pick your battles. You've got to pick, okay, are the crew of 9 or 10 people going to be where we focus our attention on character development, or is
Or
it going
the
to be
zombie
this
hierarchy, yeah.
the zombie
Yeah.
hierarchy? It's
Yeah.
like when you start building a story like this that has so many layers, but you're trying to tell it. For one, some people actually can probably do a better job of this in a freaking 2.5 hour movie. This one can't.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. And it fails because we know the kind of writer Zack Snyder is. But even if you give it to a great writer, it's a tall order. It's a tall task.
Yeah.
Because you have so many different threads that are being introduced that you have to try. I mean, there were some little one-off moments that I didn't care for, but I didn't mind. Like when they first enter into Las Vegas and they've got the blonde-haired, they call her
Yeah.
straight up the coyote,
Coyote.
Yeah.
because of the political term
Yep.
of getting people in and out.
Yep.
And she's just like, I know these things, like I know everything about
You
them.
got to sacrifice somebody for them
Right.
to let you have passage and all. I'm just like, oh,
I know. And here's the thing, though. At least I bought the idea that I was like, okay, at least I know when she says something, I know she's the smart one that knows how these things act. So I'll know if she comes up with a reason for why something happened. I'll be like, oh, she would at least know that because she mentioned earlier that she knew everything about them. Yeah. Again, I don't like that. That's too much exposition in the dialogue where he's
Zack
just like,
Snyder
hey,
tells everything. He never
Exactly.
shows. He always tells in his exposition. you
Right,
know?
kind of like George Lucas with the Star Wars films,
Yep.
and that was the problem with the the original or the new trilogy. And all I know is I was willing to give it enough of a pass in that regard, but overall, as the movie continued, every time it would get a leg up, it would then immediately knock itself back down. The whole tiger thing being Siegfried and Roy's,
Yeah.
I actually thought about that before they say it. And then when they say the line, I'm like, no. And Keith actually brought this up after his review. He was like, yeah, it would have been better if they just had like a poster advertising Siegfried and Roy in the background
yeah, with the
somewhere.
tiger
you see
on
the
it.
tiger on
Yeah,
it
and
alive.
oh,
Yeah.
And then you would
Exactly.
immediately just recognize it's like, I bet
Yep.
that's the same tiger.
Yes, like
Because
that-
where else is a tiger going to come from in Vegas?
I know.
Right, and then it's funny because they take the time to mention that, like, well, that's the only kind of tiger that would be in. And then a horse, he's riding around on a horse, and I'm like, there aren't horses just walking around in Las Vegas
Right, they
either.
would have been eaten
Where,
already.
yeah, where the hell does that come from?
You don't eat the king's ride.
But it wasn't a zombie horse; it was a real horse.
Yeah, no, it was zombie.
Was it?
It was zombie.
I thought it
I'm-
just had a. I thought it had like a face covering. I
little
didn't think
shield
it had
thing.
a.
I think it was. I think everything in there
Really?
was like.
Okay, I don't know.
But I
Yeah, even
could
the
be
babies
wrong.
were zombies.
But another thing I hated the whole fight scene where the first big battle they get into where they're trying to be quiet had so many different moments where I was just like, that's not how they would react. Like when the woman busts through the glass and she's surrounded by these zombies because
And
the
nobody
one guy tried
helps
to,
her.
Yeah.
and they're all standing there and nobody freaking helps her. And I'm
Nope.
like, and he literally is standing there looking at her like, I wish I could. I'm like, you got a
Pick
gun.
up your gun.
What the hell?
I
You all
know.
were just all fighting these things
know.
to stay alive, and now you can't
was-
just shoot a few of them so she can escape.
That was my exact thought again
Yeah.
at the very beginning when they're like, "You need to get out of there now." It's like, if that thing can get out and cause spread and make more zombies, why would they tell the military to run? Why wouldn't they be like, "You need to take this thing down now"?
Yeah.
yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's
like,
like,
just
we're
let
just
it
gonna
run
leave it
free.
on the loose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let it run
Let
free
it run
to
free and get loose.
go out in some neighborhood and just start infecting everybody.
But it is. It's like there were just so many moments of that. The part where they shoot him in the head and he's got the helmet on his head, and I'm like, you've got a freaking machine gun, spray him across the waist,
Yeah.
cut off his legs, go over there, rip the helmet off, shoot him in the head. And I'm like, no, they keep aiming for the head and all the shots miss, and I'm like,
ping, ping, ping.
that's
Yeah.
literally 1% of his body.
I know.
Like
That's
you're,
how Hollywood thinks guns work. You just shoot them in the arm or leg and they're disabled.
Well, no, at least in this point, it's like I know he would say, well, he's a zombie. You have to kill him by shooting him in the head. You can't
You can
shoot
still
him.
tear him apart and then
Exactly.
shoot him in the head.
You can rip up his legs enough
Yeah.
to where he can't walk. It was just so many moments like that where but then there were scenes where the freaking tiger eats the one dude, and
Yeah,
the
well-
whole when he mauls him, I'm like, holy crap, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was freaking
They do
awesome.
have some really amazing
That's what my favorite thing
Yeah.
was when the zombie gets smashed and
Yes.
pulls apart and
all the
all guts are
sinew
just
and
stuck
guts.
there. That
yeah.
was so awesome
Yeah.
looking.
And
that was the thing that Zack Snyder got right. Was
Yep.
absolutely it was the violence and the action because that's what he always gets right.
And if he would have literally trimmed it down to an hour and a half, had more action, and literally just made all the exposition between Batista and his daughter figure, would have been fine.
Yep, just a bunch of badasses going in and killing zombies.
Yep.
That would have been great.
And that was honestly because that was and I couldn't help but kind of relate the two just because of the opening montage. It was Zombieland, because I was thinking it's like Zombieland's a movie that has tons of spectacle but still has a lot of heart and a good story, and it's 90 minutes long. And I was like, if they can do that movie in 90 minutes, it's like Zack Snyder should have been able to do something better with this film, definitely.
No doubt. No doubt. Absolutely agree.
Okay.
Alrighty, guys. That's our review of Army of the Dead.
Brandon feels better now.
Yeah.
I did. I got it off my chest. I do. I feel
I hope he has a third movie coming out this year we don't know about.
Sucker Punch, the Snyder Cut.
Man of Steel.
Snyder Punch.
Oh
Cut.
gosh, Snyder Punch.
Man of Snyder. You just gotta
Man of
think.
Snyder.
We're
That's
just
all
gonna
his
shoehorn
fanboys
everything
right
in
now.
there.
They need a Reddit Man of Snyder and just have like his allegiance,
Yes.
like all of them
We
plead
should
allegiance.
start it.
We'd
We'll
probably
just
get-
use Red Moon Tweet and we'll start that hashtag and see what happens.
They'd figure me out too quick. They'd be like, dude, he's not a fan. He's a troll. Get rid of him. Alrighty, guys. I think we're ready to move on to our headlines.
To our
Should-
next rant, or Brandon's next rant.
I don't know if I'll rant on this or not.
Okay.
We'll see. Let's move into our headlines.
I don't scat.
Oh,
You got to
he had that little, I don't know.
I just did
that
a
little turkey call.
I don't know what it was.
that word, I don't know what that was.
It was background noise.
Gobble, gobble, said the turkey.
We haven't even had any alcohol this show.
Wow.
You know, we just got to entertain people with our voices, okay?
I guess.
It's what people tune in for. We got to do something. It's like, look, I scat, you write poems. Come on, Sean, you got to gobble. Gobble over there.
I just sit here and look serious.
No, you got to do more. You tell dad jokes. You're pretty good at that.
I got
yeah,
that.
Yeah, he's got the dad jokes.
He's got that down.
I can do that.
Alrighty, guys.
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on to our headlines. Our first one out of the gate this week is a big one. It's a big one. A lot of people out there listening to the CDC guidelines. I stopped
Don't
listening
do
to
that.
those about a year ago. If you're no stranger to the show, you know our views and our opinions,
Right.
and we're going to lay those out on the table even more tonight. So you probably will find more reason to hate us. But if you do agree with us, you may like what we're about to talk about. So the mask mandates are slowly lifting across the nation. However, some states are still very stringent or have certain deadlines that they are holding in place. Even though the CDC has officially said that if you are fully vaccinated, you can lift your mask indoors and outdoors.
Well, and even more so than just states having mandates, because we're about to get into how this is movie related. There are certain businesses that, regardless of state guidelines, are still planning on enforcing a mask rule. One of these businesses has caught Brandon's ire. I'm not going to say for no reason. I mean, I do understand, and we're going to get into it. But that is, of course, AMC Theaters, whom we all have Stubbs memberships with, because it is a great deal. Still requires, regardless of any state mandate or whether you've been vaccinated or not, for you to have a mask on when you enter their building.
Yep. And with me paying a subscription, being fully vaccinated, I am starting to demand that my liberties not be infringed. And I know this is going to raise a lot of eyebrows and ruffle some feathers out there for people who want to play it extra cautious. But I have no problem in saying, look, at the end of the day, if we're following science,
Right.
and we're following
Science.
the weird science.
There, I scattered.
There you go. There you go.
It was good, too.
Little by little. I mean,
Just
by
a
the end of
little bit.
this,
It was good.
Just a tiny little glimpse of what I got.
Just a nugget.
but hey, by the end of this, Sean's gonna be Chuck Mangione over there jamming out.
Nope.
But no, I am at the point now where, because I've been vaccinated for a full month now, that I have started to walk into places and not wear my mask. And if they, respectfully, I understand their private business. If they ask me to put it on, my first response is going to be to tell them I'm vaccinated fully. And if they say, we understand, but we're still asking everyone who comes into our business to wear the mask, then I'll put it on. If I choose to want to patronize that and continue. In some places, you can't really walk away. That may be the only business around that you have to go to. In some cases, you may be in a rush or in a hurry.
Pick your battles.
Pick your battles. And
Yeah.
But at this point, I am beyond the shadow of a doubt that now that we've had these vaccines for over 6 months, the numbers have continued to decline.
Oh, yeah.
We've had countless, millions of people who are now walking around who have either been vaccinated based on the fact that they had the virus
Well, and once
or by
you're
getting the shots.
Fully vaccinated.
Or like me,
there is
neither, and I just don't give a crap.
There
exactly,
you go.
exactly.
Yeah.
And once you've been fully vaccinated, there is a minuscule amount of probability that you could either get or spread the COVID virus. I mean, you have a 95% immunity, which
well, and it's
is
funny because I would love
pretty dang good.
Yeah, it's pretty dang good, and even somebody I think used that argument today at work against me, and I kind of
you have a 5% chance of still,
right.
yeah.
Well, and I'm just like, yeah, and what's my percentage of every day that I drive in a car that I'm going to get into a wreck?
Right.
My percentage is a lot higher considering the millions of drivers that are on the road.
Considering that you're already, as a young, healthy male,
That's what I'm saying.
you're already at a less than 3% chance
Exactly.
You
of
have a-
dying from it.
they
Now
s-
you've been
You
vaccinated.
have a better chance of the
so-
plane falling on your house
Yeah.
than you do of dying of COVID.
And that's the thing. Nobody, because see, that's the problem is people take the 95% immunity from the vaccine, but they don't add that to the already percentage of that you were not going to get it anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's
not
the
that
thing.
you wouldn't
These-
get it, but that
but
you
won't
wouldn't
die
that,
from
yeah,
it.
Well,
Yeah.
that you
that
would
it would be
but
minuscule.
both that you
Yeah.
wouldn't die from it or that you wouldn't contract it.
Yeah.
The fact is the minuscule chance of you getting it, especially at this point,
With you fully
when
vaccinated
so many
now,
people
it's
have been.
it's
Yeah.
completely unlikely that you would ever
No, right.
have any problems with COVID.
And so all that being said, but people don't see these as multipliers. They try to break down the science individualistically to make it sound as if no, there's still a chance. It's like, no, I have a greater chance of getting struck by lightning
or
But
eaten
you
by a
don't-
great white shark.
or getting eaten by a great white shark.
Or having a vending machine fall on you, because there's actually
Yes.
that's a thing that happens to people. I forget I gotta look that up. More people die from that than actual shark attacks, which I think
Yeah.
is insane.
That is crazy.
Yeah, more people have. I'm wondering
know
who's
that.
shaking the
There's
vending
less-
machine
there's like
so
less-
hard
There's less
that
than
you
100
pull
shark
the.
attacks a year.
Look,
Yeah.
I've been
So-
there. I wanted that.
You're gonna be one of the
Snickers.
people that die because a vending machine falls on you because you won't stop shaking it.
Damn right.
But you'll be vaccinated.
Yep.
I won't die of COVID.
Yeah.
You have a
Although-
higher chance.
No,
of that
you
vending
will.
machine.
I was
It'll
gonna
be on
say-
your death certificate.
I was saying if I that's true. They could.
He's like, he
market
was
that.
trying to get that Snickers out of the vending machine, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, COVID got him.
People have been shot in the head,
I was
and yet
so
they died
mad. I
of
was
COVID.
shaking that vending machine, and I've got the Snickers, and they're like, they should have had a Snickers.
Yeah. Like, what's the Snickers? Did that come from China too? Oh my God! First it's COVID, now it's the Snickers.
They're getting everybody out here. No, the main point that we were bringing up is because now that we've started going back to the theater, and now we've been twice. Once to see Spiral, the other time was to see, or was have we
No,
only
that's
been
the only
once?
time I've been.
Oh,
back.
Just
that is
just
the only time.
Spiral,
Never
and
mind.
then coming up is A Quiet Place too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going.
That's what
this
we're
week.
reviewing next, people.
Oh, surprise! Surprise!
yeah, we're throwing it out there now, just so nobody can say anything about it later.
Quiet Place 2.
Quiet Place 2.
Next
We're
week.
reviewing that next
Quiet
week.
Place 2.
Memorial Day, day after Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Quiet Place 2.
Quiet Place
Quiet
2.
Place 2.
Emily Blunt.
She's in that.
John Krasinski.
He was in that.
And what's the guy?
Cillian Murphy.
That's it. I was going to. You beat me to it.
Ooh.
You beat me to it.
I like Cillian Murphy.
But
Yeah.
no, so we're going to see that Thursday at the theater.
Mm.
Now, every single business that I have walked into, now I've walked into large grocery stores, I've walked into small convenience stores.
Right.
But every single business that I have walked into locally
Yep.
has not had any problem and has not asked me to wear a mask.
Right. They
Now,
can't.
They can't. Although,
Well,
even if they did,
yeah.
in some places it's a private business, they
Right.
can't
They
ask
can,
you for their
but they can't. They
patrons.
can't ask your vaccination status.
No.
But they could ask you,
To wear a mask.
and you could tell them, I guess, again, it's the honor system.
Well, they can't ask you if you've been vaccinated, but they say if you have to wear a mask whether you have or haven't been. You know,
Some
True,
of them,
they can
yeah.
say that.
True, they're
Yeah.
doing that because that's exactly what I've encountered in this one instance. Because in all the stores that I've been in, that was always going to be my response anyway. I don't care to tell people I'm vaccinated. I'm
Well,
fine
you're
with it.
allowed to tell people.
Right.
They just,
But
you
that's
know.
what my point is.
Right.
I actually do wear it as kind of like I'm promoting it. I'm fine. Now here's the thing, Sean. I don't care that you don't want to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And in fact, I work with two people who don't want to get vaccinated, and they have their own private reasons. And I'm like, you should be able to honor that. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Because to me, enough people get vaccinated. For one, you're either going to have herd immunity, or two, it's not really my concern whether or not you want. It's up to me as an individual that I'm vaccinated, I'm safe.
I mean, if you're
Right.
vaccinated,
here's
what do
the-
you have to worry
yeah.
about from people that aren't?
That's what I was saying. That's if I'm not vaccinated and I go in somewhere not wearing a mask because I choose to exercise my right and not wear it, again, I'm only putting myself at risk because I don't have COVID, but I could get it from someone else.
Now, that's not true. You could put other people at risk.
well, and that's what they're
No.
that's what they're going to say. But they
but if
don't,
they're wearing a
don't
mask or
take-
vaccinated,
if they're wearing a
there you
mask,
go.
then they're not
or,
at risk,
or
right?
vaccinated, yeah.
Or if they're vaccinated. So again, it's you can't give me
It's
a
your-
good explanation.
It's your it's your choice to put yourself. If you don't want to put yourself in danger, either get the vaccine or wear your mask.
right.
If you don't care, like
That's
like
right.
Sean,
I would
then,
rather
yeah.
have the virus and deal with it that way than get the vaccine.
But ultimately, I've only been stopped at one location where I was asked to put the mask on, and that was at the theater.
AMC, yeah.
AMC Theaters asked me.
They told him
And
no.
granted, and I know that if they were to catch this, they'd be like, "Well, good, they were doing their job, and they're
Yeah.
doing their. That's fine, and you're a private business. I get that." But I then raised the question, and I said, and ultimately, in the circumstances we're facing right now, because we've made plans, and I even said, I was like, I'm not going to disrupt those plans by not going to the theater or not supporting them. But I did waver in the sense of saying, is there another theater that I could go to, that would give me another option that isn't masking right now? And ultimately, if I do choose that, I would have to cancel my Stubbs A-List subscription. And the problem with that is that there's a 6-month wait that you have to wait before you can re-enlist.
Right. So if they change their policies all of a sudden,
Then I'm
You
screwed.
can't- you
Exactly.
can't come
If
back.
they change them in
Yeah.
July, or probably going to be
June
well
11th.
before that. Well, and that's the thing. We hope, but that's also in Kentucky. But here's the thing: on their ticket stubs that they send you in email,
Yeah.
they specifically say, regardless of state or
mandate.
local
or vaccination.
or
Yeah.
vaccination
Yeah.
status, you have to wear a mask.
Right.
And so at this point, I do want to get to the point where, because Sean and I kind of had a back and forth this week, and I mean, in good
I think
faith, it was
we've all kind of gone around.
We
with
have.
whether,
Yeah.
whether it's
Yeah.
in seriousness or in jest. I mean,
Right.
we
And I
have.
think like you can joke around. We all had good points, and then we all have good fun.
yes.
Also, so it's
Yeah.
not. I don't think
Yeah.
any none of us take offense to it.
No, not at all.
I don't think there was any.
But I think we were also all kind of
Hostility.
raising good arguments. And the fact is that for me, it was this point of, look, there's several things that I'm obviously willing to, give up a little bit of my liberty for to enjoy the freedom of something else.
Yeah.
And, this is one of those circumstances where, of course, it's ruled our lives for the last year.
Yes.
And in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I've been to other businesses, some big, some small.
Hey, but they're not AMC.
They're not AMC, but I've been to other businesses that have not pushed the mandate on me, who have allowed me to freely come in and enter their business and exchange my money for their goods and services, and they've not complained, and I've not gotten any guff. And AMC happened to be the only one, and yet here we are. We do a movie review podcast. Obviously, we're huge fans of movies. It would be a huge disruption for me to not go and support them. But then again, it's the whole idea of give me liberty or give me death.
Well, again,
At what
Yeah.
point
like
do
you
That's
you
said,
exactly
take?
what Jacob said.
You could.
Yeah.
He said, "Brandon to the movie theater is give me liberty or give me
That's
death."
right.
But like you said, just because if there is another theater chain or a small local theater that you can
Yeah.
go to instead, you could support them with your money, which is
Which I've been trying to do in general,
Yeah.
just because of the
And
last year and how it's affected small businesses in general. I've been trying to be more conscious about supporting local businesses.
yeah, I agree with that completely because that is something I too have been more mindful of who I give my money to. And there are definitely, and again, like I said earlier, pick your battles. There are definitely certain businesses or companies that I'm like, I don't like the way you do business. I'm not going to spend my money on you anymore. I'm going to go give my money to someone I think deserves it more.
Right.
So I mean, in that, I completely understand your position. In what you decide to take a stand on. I mean, and that's what it's about: is what are you willing to make a stand for?
Right. And ultimately too, it's not to try to cast, again, kind of like the whole whether you want to get vaccinated or not. It's the one way in which I can act what I consider to be honorably about the choices and principles I want to live by, but it's not to point the finger at other people and say, well, if you don't follow me, into the front lines on this issue.
Yeah.
Well, then you must
you
not
nev-
care about freedom.
Yeah.
You've
Right.
never
No,
once told
it-
us that we need to cancel
No.
our stubs and boycott AMC
Not
too.
at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Because I'm too poor to do that right now.
I agree with that.
The
but
$20 membership helps me out a lot.
I also think that, and I pointed it out in kind of our back and forth. My way of getting my voice heard at AMC is going to be I am not going to give them any money for the concessions.
Which is where they make
I
most of their
didn't know
money.
that they doubled their prices. Keith just made me aware of
Which
that.
that's a
which
whole
is
nother
ridiculous.
argument. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. So I'm automatically I'm out on.
I'm not
on
paying
snacks.
$10
No,
for a popcorn.
that's ridiculous. But again, if you're going to ask me to wear a mask for the 5 minutes that I walk through the lobby to get to my seat in the theater, and then I'm allowed to take it off for the 2.5 hours that I'm sitting there, I'm willing to wear the mask
Technically,
to do that.
only if you're eating or drinking something.
Well, that's
That's what they
I'll be
said.
eating or drinking something that I snuck in the movie theater, just like Keith does. Like, I mean, that's what
That
I'm
was-
gonna do.
I mean, I had a Coke bottle sticking out of my pocket, but the guy
Right.
was too busy staring at Brandon's maskless
You could have had a
face.
bazooka.
You
You could have had a
did.
bazooka sticking out of your pocket, and they were more worried about his
They
damn
were
mask.
more worried about my
That's
face.
what I'm saying. And again, well, that brings me to another point. There's a sign on the door at AMC that says no firearms in the building. And that is one of the things that if they got a sign on the door, I have every right in this country to carry my weapon with me. I have every right, whether there's a sign on the freaking door or not. I don't have to go there if they're not going to let me in because of it. But I leave my firearm in the car if I'm going in the movie theater. I do not bring it in with me.
I can still carry.
That's fine. You have every right to. I have before, and then I've seen the sign and been like, shit, and I've walked it back to the car, or now I know, and I just leave it. So I'm giving up one of my rights because I want to go see a movie. I'm okay to do that. And in certain,
Well,
and,
and
and again, that's a
because
battle
it's
I'm willing to pick.
private
They're not coming
business
to my
versus
door
the
and taking
government.
it from me,
Right.
but they're just simply saying it's not safe. We don't want you to have it in here. For 2 hours while I go see a freaking movie, I can leave it in the car. And I kind of feel the same way about the 5 minutes while I walk through. That's fine. If you want me to take it off while I'm eating, then I'll just eat the whole time. That's fine. I wasn't eating anything
one
the last
Mike
movie.
and Ike at a time.
The last movie we went and saw,
Slowly but surely.
what was that? Spiral.
Spot.
I didn't eat or drink anything
It's
when
so
I was
bad you
there.
can't
It was
remember.
that
I don't remember.
forgettable.
And the security guard walked through there 3 times
did.
while I was there.
He did.
I didn't have a mask on. I wasn't eating. Nobody's gonna say
It's a
anything
dark
to
theater.
you.
They don't know
No,
who's eating. who's
nobody's
not.
gonna
No.
say anything to you about not having your freaking mask on.
No.
It's while you're standing in line or walking through a crowded
Right.
lobby, which there are no crowded lobbies right now. But still, I'm
Well,
willing to do
I
that.
think, and I think
because-
that was also, and that's kind of what I said to not to rebut what you had said, but more so to agree, but also say that my hope was for kind of the I don't want to say mob rule. That makes it sound terrible because mob rule I think are the louder minority.
yes.
But I do think that you have people who are consciously saying, okay, I'm tired. For a year now, I've been putting this thing on my face.
Right.
I've followed all the guidelines. I've tried to do whatever I could. And yet none of the bad things have happened to me that everybody has been in fear of. And look, I'm
Just 'cause you put that
vaccinated
thing
now.
on your face.
And- no. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Except tell that to some of the people who did wear it and they still got
They
it.
still got it.
But
Yeah.
yet again, it's only the anti-vaxxers or the anti-maskers that are the ones that they parade around in the media, clamoring on about, see, if he would have just listened to the science. And I'm like, the science changes literally the week that the mandate was lifted
Yep.
was a week before they were saying
Double.
constantly to double mask.
Double mask.
And then it was like, no,
Sometimes
no, no,
triple
no.
mask.
And the thing is everybody looked at the
Hey,
science.
Joe Biden had a really bad week that week.
That's
So-
exactly
so
what
that's
it was.
why we got the mandates lifted.
But yet they're still not lifted. That's
I
what I
know.
think is so
Yeah.
funny is we've literally the moment these mandates went into action, it was like again lockdowns happened. All of this was to again to beat the curve,
Slow the spread.
slow the spread.
Well, that was it.
But
Yeah,
yet- but
flatten the
again,
curve. That was what
so
we were supposed
all
to
of
do.
this over anticipation for making sure because again in the early days nobody knew what this virus was,
Mm-hmm.
nobody knew what was going to happen, and so we were all willing to do our due diligence to make sure that we were doing our part. Here it is a year later. Finally, you're being given the green light from our masters above to say, hey, you can go ahead and walk around without a mask on. I mean, I saw people who I know who are left of center joking around when they were like, yeah, you don't have to wear a mask outdoors, and they were like, I haven't worn a mask outdoors for the last
Right.
year.
Yeah,
Like
I'm not one of those idiots that drives with it on.
well
in the car by
I
myself.
have seen those.
I have.
Yeah, I know.
I've seen
But
those.
I've
by
seen 'em
themselves
too.
in the car. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
where are you getting COVID from there?
And now, granted, I will say there's been some people who, because I've done it myself, I've forgotten that I've had it on before.
Yeah.
But after I do get to a point where I'm like, why do I still have this stupid
Yeah,
thing
and
on?
you rip it off.
Yeah, and I do. And to me, all I'm saying is the more and more people get out there who feel safe to go out, who feel safe not to wear it, I think the more people. I walked around, Kroger can get mad at me. It was a Kroger here locally that I walked through, and I'm telling you, there were. I would almost say it was probably 60-40. For the 60% of the people did not have masks.
Yeah.
It finally was at a point where it was the majority of the people walking in the store.
Yeah.
And there were even people who were actually shelving items who had a Kroger blue apron on who didn't have a mask.
Oh, yeah.
And I just walked around, and it's like, it's sad to me that I have to get a thrill for walking out of a Kroger not
Without
having
being
a damn
hassled.
mask on and think, yeah, I feel like American. I'm freedom loving. I love it. It's just, it's stupid. It's ridiculous. It
Yep.
shouldn't be afraid.
All you gotta do is just drive about 30 minutes south of Louisville, and
That's
the rest
what
of
I'm saying.
Kentucky's mask.
Yes, yeah.
You go to Shepherdsville or Bullitt County, you go into Nelson County.
Nobody.
Nobody's been wearing masks for
I
months
say,
in
I-
Nelson County.
I was down in Brownsville, which I know is a 2-hour drive south, but still, there was not a single person in
Good.
any store in Brownsville,
And that's all I'm
employee
saying.
or a customer.
That was my thing. Is it just takes the few who become the many, because there are a lot more people out there who I think are not willing to wear the mask, who are vaccinated, who are saying, because that's the thing. I'm fine with saying, yeah, still, if you're not vaccinated, even though I think we've reached herd immunity. I forget how many millions of people it needed to be. I think it was like 60 or 70 million that it needed to be before we called it herd immunity
Right.
at that point. And we've reached that number.
Yep.
So I'm just like, at this point, I'm still, yeah, go get vaccinated. There's nothing wrong with it. But other than promoting that, you don't have to walk around with a mask on.
Yeah.
It's fine. Go back to normal. And look, that's what I loved when people were we had all these damn news stories that were playing about, like, it was probably 4 or 5 months ago where they were like, they haven't seen their grandparents in almost a year. And I'm like, that is sick.
Yeah.
That is absolutely, like, you're telling me that your mental health and you not seeing your family was actually the risk that you were willing to take.
Yep.
They
when-
didn't want to get their
when-
grandparents sick, man. They
Well,
could kill them.
No, but that's BS, because they weren't taking into consideration the actual chances that they had of getting it,
Yeah.
or that their grandparents who were vaccinated could have gotten it.
It's really pathetic, but at work, and I mean, Keith we work at the same place, so he might have experienced the same thing, but in the team that I work on, like, I literally work with people that up until last week, when they told us at work that you didn't have to have a mask. It's on the honor system, of course.
If you've been
But-
vaccinated, you
right,
can take
right.
it off.
But
yeah.
nobody's wearing them. But
Of course not.
There's a
um,
few, but
there's
yeah.
a few
Well,
stragglers.
yeah.
But they're not embarrassed yet. They will be.
Well, see,
eventually.
and those
But
are the
again,
ones I'm
there's
scared of,
people
because
that
they'll
I
raise
haven't-
the argument of why
yeah,
we should
whatever.
always be.
There's people there that I didn't know what they looked like, because I have only ever
Yeah,
seen them with
with
a
a
mask.
mask on.
And
Yeah.
literally, I ran into a woman in the break room, and she, like, literally stopped me, and I didn't know who the heck she was. And she was just like, "Oh my gosh, like, I've never seen your face." And when I
So
heard
weird,
when I heard her voice, I knew who it was, and I was just like, "Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, like, I've never seen what you look like either." And
Yeah.
and I was just and I
All you
jokingly
see is
said
people's
I jokingly
eyes.
said
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm not disappointed." And she and she laughed and said, "Same here." But I was just like, it literally, for almost a year, this person I've worked with, and I've never seen her freaking face.
Yeah.
And her the same way. I take mine off as soon as I get out, but we leave at different times, so
Yeah.
it's just like, that's insane to know that there's kids that bump into their teachers outside of school, and they don't even know who the teachers don't even know who their students are.
Yeah.
You know, this happened with Sawyer. Like, I mean, run into somebody in a Walmart and they see you for the first time. It's like, I didn't even know that's what you look like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's insane, because those are connections that you're supposed to have
Yeah.
with your students.
Yep.
And you don't have it other than, you know, on the internet.
Well, and I mean, again, I don't want to get into the weeds of the mental
I will
health
say that
issue,
they're-
but I will say that it's like, I think the ramifications of what we've done in the last year to just our society and our culture in general.
My son's
has-
living proof of it.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see that those those problems well beyond
Yeah.
this just getting back to normal. It's going to last well beyond just this time period and into the next generation.
Oh yeah. It's we're not out of it just because even if they
But again, those are the
everybody-
concerns they're not talking about.
Yeah.
And these are the concerns that are going to last well beyond when all of these people who are raising all this stink right now are gone. They're dead and buried.
I mean, we could go
And
down.
that's
Yeah.
the sin.
a
That's
deep
the
rabbit
evil
hole.
behind
Yeah,
it.
we could go down a
We
deep
don't-
rabbit hole of the ramifications because there's going to be social ramifications, economic ramifications, all kinds.
We've already
for
got
sure.
yeah, we've already seen
So,
those.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing of the theater
So-
business. We've had Tom Cruise out there chanting, ranting, and raving about getting back to the theater, and it's like
He was
Yeah,
threatening to fire
yeah.
everybody on set for not
Yeah.
wearing a mask, and
Right.
now he's begging
Now
people
he's
to come
begging them to
back.
come back.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So besides the movie theater, and I know that's what we're talking about here, but what's maybe is there any other things that you're willing to boycott or not willing to boycott?
It's interesting because we've been digital at church all year long, and they did make the decision to finally allow masks to be optional once we hit June. However, I have stopped wearing masks at church probably. After I was
What do you mean
vaccinated.
digital? Like you mean it's only been on TV?
No.
Oh.
We've been in person probably for I'd say last 6-7 months.
Okay, okay.
We've had for a while. I would say a majority of all of last year, but I think we brought people back in at the beginning of the year. Once the vaccine was made available, it was we still had the social distancing and you had
Sure.
to wear a mask.
Yeah.
But we still offered the online. But we had thankfully already had the online before. Some churches weren't so lucky. But I stopped wearing my mask after I was the 2 weeks after I gotten my second shot, when you were considered actually fully vaccinated, and nobody said anything. Again, it's kind of one of those shaky waters of. And I think that's the thing is you have those bold people, kind of like who you were talking about, who they will still wear the mask even after they've been fully vaccinated, maybe to make themselves feel comfortable. But in some cases, I've seen people who they're the Karens. They're the ones who will run around and they'll what are you
police.
doing without your mask?
Mask
What are you
police.
and that's what I'm saying is it's like you have to be willing to take some of that guff up front and stand up to them. And to that point, like I said, when it comes to private businesses, my main thing has been I'm going to tell them if they ask me that I'm fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
And if they still ask me, then it will be in that instance that I choose whether or not to support them or to turn around and walk out the door. And so far, because of AMC only doing it to me the one time, and again, I have that choice to make within what I think is going to change in the next month or so. Of whether or not to support them in that next month until they lift the restriction. But again, I haven't been faced anywhere so far, thankfully, that has been so awful that I'm just like, holy crap, for one, I can't live without this. I can't give this up. I have to wear the mask to go. I will say
I wouldn't even
when I'm
referring
wearing
just to masks. Like I mean, for example,
just
like,
in general?
Yeah, for example, like
Yeah.
Dick's Sporting Goods. I don't shop there because of the gun
Oh.
thing. I don't wear
Yeah.
Nikes because of Colin Kaepernick. Like I mean, there's
Nappernick.
things I can give up buying Nikes, which are shoes that I really loved. They're very comfortable and I like the way they look, but I'm not going to buy them as long as they're not standing for the flag.
Right.
And if Dick's is not going to sell guns, then what good are you as a sporting goods store? I'm not going there.
Right.
Academy still does, so I'll just spend my money there.
Yeah.
But then there's other places like Kroger. Like I can't get the groceries I want at Walmart. Like we always go to Kroger. So if Kroger is gonna force me to wear a mask or whatever while I'm in there, that's kind of like I can't just stop going to Kroger.
Right.
I got to get
That's
my
all
groceries
you've got in
there.
Bardstown.
Yeah, that's all we got.
Well,
Well,
no,
even if it's not all we got, I don't want to go to 4 or 5 other places just because I don't want to wear a mask for the 30 minutes that I'm in there. So I'm willing to do it. But then there's other places that I'm willing to flat out say I'm not buying anything from you because of this.
Right.
So
For principle.
it's just like I think we all have different things that we're willing to sacrifice for our
and
principles.
Yeah,
but
Oh, go ahead, Keith.
I would
Go
just
ahead.
say, I don't buy groceries from Walmart anymore because they burned me too many times, and I'm like, screw you all. And I go to Kroger now too, just because it helps with gas, because gas is so ridiculously priced right now.
yeah.
That's true. Fuel savings do.
Yeah.
is
So
amazing.
if I buy groceries at Kroger, I also save money on gas.
But you're not going to Walmart just because they burned you, like in terms of not offer. They weren't good at what they offered you. Like
I mean, all around, just And I can't pinpoint any one Walmart. It's become all of them. Like they just leave crap laying on the floors. They don't actually stock their shelves. The customer service is piss poor. And
Yep.
then when I go in to actually get something, they never have it in stock, and it might just be because it's on the ground and I don't know it's actually. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I'm saying. It's like it's not on the
You
shelf.
stepped over it to get where the
And
shelf
I'm like,
was.
it's like I don't know where. Like I don't see anything. And then their prices, like it's supposed to. Used to, you would go to Walmart because they had everything
They're
at a
cheap.
low price.
Yeah.
They were the Amazon of their day.
Right.
I have actually been able to get groceries at Kroger cheaper than at Walmart. Kroger's
Oh, yeah,
always
no
has
doubt.
that deal with their Coke bottles. You can get
Yeah.
4 for $10. They charge you $5 for a 6-pack at Walmart. I'm like, I
Yeah.
can get
But
4
again,
for $10
you're
at Kroger,
boycotting-
2 for $10 at Walmart.
But you're
No.
boycotting Walmart because again,
They're garbage.
their business infrastructure has crumbled.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
the. It's funny because they were the Amazon of their day. They were what Amazon wanted to become.
Yeah.
Originally, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like, and even though Walmart continues to top the charts in terms of business,
Well, yeah.
but yeah, their business is just it's gone down. The quality of service has gone down.
Yep.
But I would also argue too that my point of view has changed on this in the last decade. I used to not be, and I think this is more where the woke culture and the culture wars in general have made me more heightened and aware.
It's your age too.
Yeah, wisdom.
That's one thing I've noticed. I've become way more conservative the older I get,
Yeah.
which is very weird because
yeah.
And
But-
I would honestly say 10 years ago I literally
Well,
had very
but again, my principles,
left leaning.
because the shift in the culture has changed so drastically. If I still have the same principles I do from 10 years ago in the sense that they've become more refined and more clarified.
Right? Yeah.
But ultimately, I would have never said. I would have thought, no, I'm for free, free market, free enterprise. Like,
Yeah.
go to support a business because they actually do good service
Mhm.
and they offer a superior product
Yep.
that you want to support. I'm all for that. I don't care what their status is for whatever cultural battle. But because we again have listened to the louder minority, I don't think this is a majority of people.
Oh,
and I
no.
think you're seeing corporations understand this slowly but surely.
Yep.
The more and more these corporations, the bigger they are, get involved into this wokeness, and they start to try to, cave to the crowd, and they realize it doesn't matter what you do, you can never be woke enough. Then what ends up happening is it comes back to bite them, because now you have people who didn't give a shit about that in the first place. But now we're willing to say, oh, if that's what you stand for, defund the cops, well, then I'm not supporting you.
Yep.
Oh, you think that what people voted on and their constituents actually represented the people in Georgia for this voting law? You think supporting that is bad, so you're going to move out of that? Okay, fine, we won't support your business.
Yeah.
And in fact, what happened to Coca-Cola was they started backing off because of backlash. And that's all I'm saying is, to me, that's the idea of taking off the mask and not wearing it. It's not so much of a, I'm trying to be a badass and I'm trying to, make
Stick it
myself
to the man.
right. It's
Yeah.
more my opposition of, you are a business here to do one thing, and if you don't do that one thing well, then screw you. I'll take my money that I've worked hard for,
Right.
and I'll spend it somewhere and support people who agree with me. I used to not think, because to me, I thought businesses were amoral, and it used to be that they were.
Yeah.
Their whole idea was to make a buck
Yep.
and to turn around and give their shareholders a buck. And that was the whole point. But now that they've gotten so saturated in this woke culture that they're going to start eating their own to the point where it's affecting their bottom dollar, then you'll see them turn away from it.
Yeah.
Because it's not
They're
sustainable.
more worried about the minority canceling them, but in reality, it's the majority that's going to end up.
It's the
canceling
majority
them.
that can,
Yeah.
should they take that responsibility. And I
Yeah.
think, sadly, that's where we are in today's culture, is we, as I think the underlying majority of holding that view of original opinion, which is, hey, I just want to go and support your business because you give me this great service or good. And that's it. If you stick to that, then I'll still support you. But if you're going to go this route, no, I can't. I can't support you completely defending somebody else's viewpoints that totally are supposed to be tyrannical and overrun me and my own worldview and my own perspective. The moment you start getting into that game, I think we have to, because that's the problem, is there's too many good people who do nothing. And what happens when good people do nothing?
Yeah.
And that's the issue we're facing, I think, right now with these businesses in America. And we have to fight, because if we don't, then we're all going to end up succumbing to those who I think are the louder minority. and I don't want to be there. I don't want to live in that America.
Yeah.
Woo.
I'm not canceling
right.
my AMC stubs.
That's one line you won't cross.
No, not yet.
I'm almost there, but I'm still weighing on it. We'll see what their decisions are in the coming weeks here, and what they choose to
Yeah.
do. But
If somebody comes along and offers something comparable
Yeah.
and isn't taken
You
away,
know what? I actually like Cinemark more than AMC, but they're not as cheap. So maybe
Yeah.
if Cinemark
Yeah.
would bump up and give a better offer, but
Yeah.
you know,
are you listening, Cinemark?
hopefully,
You should be.
they have XD screens. They may not be quite as good
We've
as IMAX,
plugged
but you know.
AMC enough on this show. We
Oh,
can plug
yeah.
you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we have.
Look at me.
Yeah.
We can plug you.
That was good. That was good. I bought it. I believe it.
Let's move on. It's
We-
10 o'clock.
I know we got
It's
we got a
10:05.
whole nother topic to talk about.
Like, PlayStation's gonna make video game movies.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Netflix is making video games. We got a.
I know we still
a
got
unique
our
weekly segment here.
Well, I know
Yeah.
we still got a whole unique weekly segment. The point is Netflix wants to do an Apple-like subscription of games.
Apple Arcade,
Like
like
and
Netflix
because
Arcade.
they are trying to compete with Fortnite. They say that's their biggest competitor right now.
Fortnite.
It's
Fortnite
not other streaming services. It's
is-
people spending time on Fortnite
It's a free
instead
game.
of instead of watching
actually
movies,
watching
Yeah.
movies. And they said they've even got they call it the metaverse, which is what Epic Games is calling the Fortnite universe, which is where people get on the game
Mhm.
to literally get into their little group and then watch movies in the group
Yeah.
on Fortnite.
Yeah.
So it's like that's how apparently the Star Wars Episode 9 trailer dropped, was on a Fortnite group.
They get in
Where-
groups and watch it.
Yeah. And so you're sitting here watching, kind of like
In
what you were
virtual
talking
reality.
about.
So they're watching
with the
it in
Oculus.
Fortnite. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like the Oculus has like similar features, but it's there's not a lot of people that have an Oculus.
But
Like, it's
but
just
apparently it's like this love of the one game Fortnite, that community comes together.
Oh, they're
and
yeah.
like
they're
it's
very
huge.
dedicated.
tight knit.
And so Netflix kind of sees this as like, well, if we kind of offer something on the side, it's still multimedia.
but the
it's
games
still-
that they're
it's-
talking about are like
they're Apple
they're
arcade games. Yeah,
they're not
no one
Fortnite.
cares.
But again, it all goes back to business too. It's like, can we get more people involved in our service, but also paying that monthly subscription to have it
Yeah.
bundled
they could
with movies?
try, but I feel like I'm not saying they can't deliver. They might be able to, but it again sounds like Netflix just reaching for money because
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
They need it.
I think
they
so
they
too.
desperately need
I don't
it.
think Netflix is. Again, they're toying with it. We'd have to see what they come out with. But if it's been like any of their other like Shuffle, which is
Yeah.
now a staple, but what was that? Max was the name of their.
I used Shuffle for the first time the other day.
Do y'all
Yeah,
remember that
that's-
voice assistant?
With Netflix.
Yeah, it was like called Max or something.
No,
I don't remember
And
that.
you would ask Max to like show you movies.
I don't have anything that would recognize my voice, so I guess that's probably why I never
Wow.
used it.
yeah.
Oh man! Well, no. It was kind of like because I remember it was on. My brother used it on the PlayStation 3 app, and it was literally an option in there.
Yeah.
And you would click on it, and it would be like this select. It was kind of like Shuffle, but a more Siri-like Shuffle that was trying to have a personality and all this stuff. But it was, yeah.
I thought she popped up. On my
Oh, when I
watch
said
you
that. But no, it's funny. I mean, let me just say they've tried things in the past that haven't worked.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if this is the next thing that doesn't work from Netflix. But you can see they're grasping. They're
Yep.
trying to find other revenue streams because it's not just the streaming. They actually they didn't bring in enough or a lot of subscribers last year, even though everybody was heightened because of quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. They actually lost some subscribers.
They've got
throughout
real
the layer.
I mean, they've always had competition, but I mean, it's getting even more fierce now. And
Right.
I think they're beginning to realize, oh, we're not top dog anymore.
Well,
I
and
mean,
again,
they
and-
still are,
right.
but at the same time, they realize how quickly
And
they're
not
losing
just
that
with other
ground.
streaming services, but other things that take up your time.
Mm.
And I think that's why they're trying to get into these other, because that's the thing with Apple. Apple doesn't have arcade; they've got services.
Yeah.
They have all these other different revenue streams. So Netflix is trying. But the other funny thing was PlayStation talking about movies. Now they had their movie production studio actually open back in 2019, which is why we're getting the Uncharted movie next February, and we're hopefully
The
we're going to be
Last of
seeing The
Us.
Last of Us on HBO.
Mhm.
But it's just funny and interesting that they've got all these great IPs that I think a lot of people would be interested in seeing what they could muster up.
Yeah.
But I liked the way I forget his name. It's a weird name, foreign guy name. Yeah, I know.
guy name.
Yeah, foreign
Yeah,
guy name.
foreign guy
That's
name.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
funny thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Foreign guy name.
Yeah.
I'm very bigoted, but no, he's the head of PlayStation Studios. But it's actually
I'm
funny
just gonna
because
call him foreign guy name from now on.
foreign guy name from PlayStation Studios.
Yeah.
He mentioned their whole idea was to not only just give you a reason to go and watch a movie about something you played in a PlayStation game, but it was also to give you a different perspective for when the next time you go and play the game.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a good way of looking at it.
Assad Ghazilabash.
There you go. See, I knew if I had said a Middle Eastern name, it would have been even worse.
Yeah, that would have been.
That would have
worse.
been way worse.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
would have really shown my racism then.
Yeah.
You know, I just slightly showed it there. Okay, guys, I think we're finally ready.
Well, you know, Microsoft is doing that too because they're working on a Gears of War movie and obviously
Yeah.
Halo.
And Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been
Which-
working on Halo for 20 years.
Yeah, true. I'm surprised Konami, after they got rid of Kojima, hasn't pumped out a freaking
Metal Gear.
half-baked Metal Gear
Yeah.
movie just to make money off.
Well, there's
of it.
one coming. That's in the works.
It's been in the works for 10 years too.
Longer
but
than
now,
that.
but I thought they had I thought they had like an actual.
No,
they
they've
started
had a
writing.
script. Yeah, they
Yeah.
have, and it's been like I know the script's been like 5 years now.
It's been doctored so many times, and I forgot they had a director tied to it too, but that's fallen out.
He's still tied, I believe.
He is.
I just
But I don't
sent
know.
y'all
He
something
used to
about
work
it,
with,
like a month ago.
He was working, he said, heavily with Kojima himself for the movie, but I don't know if that could be the case anymore since Kojima's no longer with Konami.
Well, I'm all for if these people who control the gaming studios actually care about their properties, then they will. They'll put good people behind making sure they make the right choices.
Yeah.
And granted, I do think at least PlayStation, with the abysmal video game movies we've seen in the past,
Yeah.
I do think with Last of Us being on HBO and Uncharted
That could be
being
really
with,
good.
with Tom Holland,
Mhm.
I definitely think
I'm
we
still-
have two huge.
I'm still sketchy about that one.
I know
I saw
because it went through rough
actually,
production.
I
well,
saw the screenshot or the
yeah,
set
and
shot of
Matt-
him and Mark
Wahlberg. He just looks like
does
Mark.
it look bad.
No, he just looks like Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
I'm like, he doesn't even look like anything like Sully. And I know he's
Are you serious?
Well,
He's
here's
the
the-
younger. But
yeah, I know he's supposed to
still.
be younger, but the hairstyle there's
They don't
he's-
even try.
He's clean shaven, so there's no iconic mustache.
No.
The hairstyle just looks like Mark Wahlberg's hairstyle. I'm
It
like,
looks
come
like
on.
Spencer Confidential.
It's like Tom Holland. Yeah, yes.
Max Payne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Holland, I was like, the first photo they revealed of him, I was like, okay, he looks like a young Nathan Drake. I
Yeah,
can get that. And
looked
Tom,
good.
and after seeing The Devil All the Time, I'm like, yes, I can see
Yeah.
Tom Holland. He's a good actor. He might
Yeah.
be able to pull that off. As soon as I saw Mark Wahlberg as Sully, I was like, it's just Mark Wahlberg.
And it's sad.
And that's how he's
because-
going to act because he can't do anything else.
Yeah.
Guys,
just
we
gonna
found
be
a
Mark
transformer.
It's like, guys, we found buried treasure.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That's exactly what
He didn't even have a cigar or nothing. I was like, at least give him a cigar.
I
I mean,
know.
do something.
Oh, maybe that'll be his finishing line in the film. He'll say something.
He'll put it in his mouth.
and then he'll
light
put
it.
up and that'll be the
Then
Sully
He'll
move.
automatically just start talking like Sully. Like, look here, kid.
I would love to see Mark Wahlberg do something other than Mark Wahlberg. I really would. But no, I don't know. We'll see. It has been in production hell. Who knows? Fingers crossed that PlayStation Studios can actually form a movie that's worth watching, or hopefully the Last of Us HBO show.
Them to do something like
Twisted Metal's also in the works.
yes,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
That would-
I'm
that'd
interested
be
in.
kinda
I want to
cool.
see them like. I
God
mean,
of
we
War
did
is what I
have.
want.
That's apparently everybody's
I want Zack
said
Snyder
that.
to do that.
I almost said
I
it.
want them to get
I
into
almost-
something
I almost dropped it.
like you had the
I almost
Wow.
the Ratchet and Clank animated movie. I want to see
Yeah.
them do something more unique with that. Like give us Sly Cooper. Like that would be really
Oh,
cool.
that would be a good one.
That would be a good.
Because the
like, it
Ratchet
could be
and
a
Clank
movie.
animated movie was not that good.
No.
It was
No,
okay. But
It was
not
okay. It got good reviews, but it wasn't as good as the reviews said it was.
No,
So.
and it was mainly again. I want to see them. Yeah,
Yeah.
They have so much love in these worlds.
But that was also that was before PlayStation Studios existed, I believe. The Ratchet
I think
and
it
Clank
was.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah, because
so-
2019 was when
Yes,
this
yes,
came,
so-
came about.
So yeah,
I think it
would
was
like to
them
see something
finally
like that.
staking a claim of no, we want to take this seriously, and we want the movies to represent the games that everybody loves.
Yeah.
And I at least think, look, if you're gonna make a buck off of it, yeah, make because he also said another point of the studios is that he's like, we've got to introduce these characters to people who've never played the games.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you've got to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
And that's that. I mean, I didn't mind this latest Mortal Kombat, but I completely understand if people watch that and were like, this is stupid. I've never
Well,
played
that
the games. I
also
don't-
wasn't PlayStation Studios either.
No.
Yeah.
And that,
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was just comparing it
Yeah,
to video
yeah,
game
yeah.
movies in general.
General.
But okay, guys, that's our discussion on Netflix games and PlayStation
Sony,
movies.
PlayStation movies, yeah.
Everything.
Let's roll that relationships open.
Let me tell you about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees and the moon up above.
And they call us
You feeling yourself?
I just,
You
you
had
know,
to back off the mic
It's
for
been
that.
a very heavy show so
I
far.
scatted
so I
a little
think-
bit, but not as much.
Yeah, I think that the brevity of the show, you were just trying to lighten the load.
Well, I want people to still be entertained an hour in. You
Yeah.
know, we're
Yeah.
going a little over, but hey, we're always entertaining here on the Red Moon Podcast. Are you not entertained? Damn right, I'm entertained,
Okay.
and so are our viewers.
So what's our
Yeah,
relationship?
I was about to
segment?
ask. Yeah.
Our relationship segment right there at the bottom of your screen, Sean.
What?
Bad day? Would you rather be alone or with someone? Question goes to you, sir.
Oh,
To
to
me?
Sean.
It depends on what makes it a bad day. Sometimes other people make it a bad day.
Yeah.
And that's when I say, leave me the hell alone.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then there's other days that I need somebody to fall on
Hmm.
and catch me when I fall.
That was sweet. I would agree.
No, I do. It's one of those things where I think more if like it's a bad day that like I'm kind of like if I'm in an angry type mindset, like everything's just kind of gone wrong and I'm mad about it, then I want to be left alone. Now if it's something where like I'm upset or sad,
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I mean, not a
that's
more
on
appropriate
par,
time right
on
there.
par.
That was beautiful.
Exactly. But I'm saying, if it's something that I'm more like upset or depressed, sometimes I do want like that camaraderie because I know if like I'm like
Yeah,
kind
you
of
need to pick
upset,
me
but
up.
if I'm laughing with friends,
Yeah.
then it makes me feel better. But yeah, definitely. I'm more introverted anyways. I like my me time. So there's a lot of times when like if I'm just not having a good day, I just want to kind of like withdraw.
You gotta charge your
But
batteries.
yeah, but there's plenty of times where where it's like I need that laughter. I want that friendship. So let me go find somebody or call somebody. So
Well, and I think that it's funny because I think we've had this string of like the last few relationship segments where it's always been it depends, and this definitely falls square in
Oh,
that
yeah.
category because
I know some
like
people
you
are like,
said,
"Oh,
if-
pick
if-
a side.
There could
Piss
be
a
a
girl off
day
the
where somebody pisses me off, and I don't want to be around that person. But it's not that I don't want to be around people in general. There's people that I know I could be around.
there's sometimes I don't want to be around anyone.
No,
in
right.
general.
Well, and I was gonna say there's been times where it's like nobody did anything to piss me off, but it's a day where I got to recharge. I just don't want to associate with anybody. I am more introverted, and so it's like
And then you get like a million texts in the group text, and you're just like, "Shut up, guys! Shut up!"
Shut up.
I know we've definitely all done that in our group text.
Do not disturb. I still haven't figured out how that
I just
works.
ignore them. Like
It doesn't work. I've
It
tried
doesn't.
it. And then and then there will be people who text me individually and be like, "Hey, did you get that in the group?" And I'm like, "You defeated the purpose of do not
went around.
disturb." And let alone then all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh no, I didn't get it." And then because I texted them back, it somehow takes do not disturb off the group, and now I'm getting group messages again. I'm like, "This doesn't work." Apple needs to figure
Just
that
turn
out.
your phone off, Brandon. Disconnect
I know.
from technology.
And then you have your mom busting down the door saying, "You didn't call us.
Right.
You
you
didn't
can't-
stay in touch."
You can't say like, "Hey guys, I'm not really in the mood today, so I'm going to set this one out."
because then they worry.
yeah, because then they
Well,
worry.
then it's like, oh, no, he's
God, gonna
suicidal.
kill
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah. But then when you're not feeling great
have
and you
a
fall
plan?
asleep and then 8 people call you and think you're dead because you're sleeping through the
Yeah.
like that was a day I was just I
Yeah.
had a bad day. I didn't
That's
want
when
to deal
we-
with people.
That's
Then I
when we
did. I fell
sent somebody
asleep.
over to your
Yeah.
house.
Well,
and-
my mom texted me this past weekend and was like, "Hey, do you want to come over for dinner?" And I literally, I cut the grass. I had a heat stroke, so I took a shower and I was out, man.
Yeah.
And I woke up and it was like 2 hours after the text, and I'm like, I'm surprised they didn't come over here and bust the door down.
Yeah.
And try to thinking I'm not alive.
Families do that.
They do. They care.
They
They,
worry.
love. But
Yep.
that's the thing. Yeah. I to me, I don't know. I like to be. I would say on most days I'm more okay with being around people than not being around people.
Mhm.
It just depends then on who those people are.
Okay.
That was it. And there it is.
Well, I think that'll do.
I think that'll do, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good relationship segment, was it not?
It was.
But I wonder what our audience thinks out there. You know what they could do? They could just tell us what they think on all of our social media accounts right there at the bottom of your screen.
Mhm.
That's right. Red Moon Book, Red Moon Tweet, Red Moon Pics, and Red Moon
They
Productions.
have been.
on YouTube. Oh, they have been.
Yeah, very few. But
We
got
got to
to
respond.
Yeah,
we got to respond.
we
to them.
do. We've mentioned. We mentioned Jacobs. Like
It's true.
That's right. Give me liberty or
Or
give me death. Damn
Yeah.
right.
I
right.
believe Neil commented something about New Hampshire, live free or die. Yeah,
That's right.
which makes me think of Die Hard.
Bruce Willis.
Don't
Yeah,
tread
yeah.
on
live
me.
free or die hard.
Mhm.
Terminator 2.
Judgment Day. 80s voiceover guys are
You,
the best.
Are you
Yes.
getting nervous? Are your palms sweaty? Knees weak? Arms are ready?
What-
You,
I mean,
you messed
what
it
would
up.
I did.
What
Mom's
would you be nervous
spaghetti.
about?
No. I messed it up because I put the one part first.
I know.
Knees weak, arms are ready. Wait, hold on.
He's trying.
Wow.
You're not Eminem.
You gotta put yourself in the music.
There's only one white boy that can rap.
You gotta lose yourself. even he screwed it up. He said you gotta put yourself in the music.
That's how it says it.
You gotta lose yourself.
Lose
Oh,
yourself.
my bad.
Boom. Yeah.
Jesus, I'm white.
Yeah, so is he.
Yeah, but he's
That's
not.
what I said. He's
He's not
there's
as
al-
white as me.
There's only one white boy that can rap,
That's
and it's
Yeah.
not you, Brandon.
No.
No, and he happens to be. It's like greatest rapper ever. I know. All right, and also if you don't like our social media accounts or you just want to be old fashioned, I don't know what he
What
just
is-
said.
Email. I didn't say anything.
You better
I'm
get.
still
you-
laughing about the put yourself in the music. It's like I actually thought that one out and said it at the right moment. And
You
then
can
I
tell we
got
don't
it wrong.
listen.
I got it wrong.
I listen to Eminem.
It's just I don't
I
know
mean, I
my
don't listen to
Eminem.
him religiously.
No,
I don't know
It's
my
like-
rap
like-
at all.
I don't either.
It's like maybe
That's-
once every 3 or 4 months I listen to him, but I do
It's
like
the
I
one
like it.
genre that I completely despise is rap.
I
found
don't
there's
mind
good
it.
ones.
There's
Yeah,
good ones.
there's good ones.
Yeah,
and
what
bad
Run
ones.
DMC?
We'll have to do that on a relationship segment. Or no, what would that be?
Multimedia.
Multimedia. We could do multimedia. Talk about your favorite music genre.
Okay.
Let's do that. We'll
will.
talk about that.
But
All
not
right.
tonight.
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Because tonight we're done. And if you want an old-fashioned way, I'm trying to give you as much time to prepare. Are you
I'm
ready,
ready. Would you like me to tell them how they can get a hold of us the
Yeah,
old-fashioned
you
way?
can. Absolutely.
Email us at rmpodcast@redmoonproductions.com.
That was just beautiful.
I know.
Just gorgeous.
You can't compete.
I can't.
Sean did it really
Nobody
good. The
can
one.
compete.
No,
He
didn't.
did.
You beat me that one week.
I did.
Yeah, because I stumbled over my second one when we were going back and forth.
Yeah, yeah,
He did.
yeah.
But it was really good.
He
It was
conquered.
really good. Alrighty, guys. That's going to do it for this week's episode of the Red Moon Podcast. Thanks for hanging in there with us. But remember, you can always catch us live every single week right here on YouTube and Facebook and all of our other streaming platforms. There's
Everywhere.
so many. Just check for us.
Just do it.
Just go to our website, redmoonproductions.com. Check it out there live every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Full
And-
Shia LaBeouf. Just do it.
Just do it. Do it. Alrighty, guys. I am one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host.
Sean Sebastian.
And
There's lots of things I'd like to do, but no, I never will. There's lots of things I want to do, but time just won't stand still. There's lots of places I could visit, things I'd like to see. I'm older now than once I was, but younger than I'll be. Yet time keeps marching onward, and I stay standing still. Now gone are all my aspirations, and all that's left's my will.
beautiful.
Amen.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. For more reviews, previous podcast shows, and everything Red Moon, visit our website, redmoonproductions.com. You can also like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for Red Moon Productions, LLC. We'll see you at the movies.